Hey everybody, this is Trey with BlackFalconElectronics.com, and in this video we will be discussing part 3 of Project Aurora, which is the Arduino automated solar panel system. Now, with part 3 we're going to be talking about another subsystem, which is Project AURCS, or the Automated Animal Residency Control System. Now, what we're going to be doing for the AURCS unit is managing the internal environment of each animal that's within an enclosure. So each enclosure, be it for Avery or Suki or Selena, those three are some of my snakes, they're going to have their own AURCS unit, and that's going to provide management for their heating, for their ventilation, cooling system, as well as an alert system for me, so that when I am going through the solar storage unit, I can see by way of alarm that, hey, an alarm is buzzing for this specific enclosure. I know I need to feed them. So it's going to be kind of like an all-in-one project. So let's go ahead and look at one of the containers I'll be using for the AURCS unit, and we'll discuss it further from there. Alright, so this is the bin I want to make an AURCS unit. As you can see, it's pretty good as far as size is concerned. I'm going to go ahead and put my hand in here, and you can actually see it's a pretty darn decent size. So when you look at the measurements, it's approximately 25 inches long, 18 inches wide, and about 7.5 inches high. So that's more than enough space to put a AURCS control unit in, at least mounted on the outside. But the biggest thing is, besides like having the space, I have to figure out how am I going to properly utilize it. So what I need to do actually is take this on a computer so I can show you guys what the initial plan is for this AURCS unit. So let's go ahead and go to the computer real quick. All right, so here is the picture of the soon-to-be AURCS unit. So what I want to do is have this configured so that I can accurately and properly heat the enclosure, cool the enclosure, adjust the humidity as needed while maintaining the safety of the animal. And one way to do that is by having a heat lamp, of course, and this will take care of the heating. So the thing though is that this heat lamp can get into excess of 100 degrees, and for the safety of my animals, I want to ensure that there's some type of protection so that they don't hurt themselves and burn themselves. So this circle here denotes the heat lamp, and I need a barrier, so I'm thinking about just getting an acrylic barrier. So I'd have it like this, where there'd be an acrylic wall here, and I also will need a way to pump it. So a way to move the air that'll be contained in here out into the greater AURCS unit space. So to do that, I think it'll be best if I were to have a hole cut out here as shown by this rectangle, and have a fan. So the fan will be represented by this little star. So the fan blows the air from the outside inside, carrying the heat from this heat lamp out and into the greater space. Now, I need to protect this, but an acrylic wall is going to keep all the hot air stuck in here. So what I'm thinking is, if I got a very thin mesh screen, I could ensure that the air can get in and out, but an animal cannot. So that'll be denoted by this little small break you see here in this wall. So when the air gets pumped, the air is going to flow basically in a circle. So the warmest air will be here in this section, and once it gets to here, it's going to be like a little cooler, but of course it's still going to heat up the overall enclosure. The biggest thing though is, if it gets too hot, of course I want to shut this off, but I need another way to pump air in here. So considering how I know the heat will be dispersed, warmest area here, cooler area here, and coolest area here in this section, what I'm going to do, at least what I'm thinking about doing, is getting another cutout here on the other side of this partition, and having a fan here represented by the star, having a fan that's able to blow the environmental air here, and since it doesn't have a heat lamp or anything, it could actively cool this area if it gets too hot. Now, another problem that I could encounter is the matter of humidity. So, of course, all animals need some humidity, but since it's going to be in this enclosure and it could be excessively dry and hot, just as much as it could be wet and warm, I need a way of changing or manipulating the humidity. Now, the easiest way to do that would be to have a pipe that goes in here. So remember in part 2, I discussed there being a water distribution system. So what I could do is have a PVC pipe inside of here that is capped off on this end so that pressure builds up and the water escapes through the tube by having a few holes cut inside of it. So bore a hole on either side. So let's represent that hole by these bars here on by here, representing the holes being bored by this bar right here. So have it here, probably have it in 3 sections. That'll probably be best. So one for the very back, one for the middle, and one here at the very end. So by having it like this, it ensures that the water is distributed relatively evenly throughout the enclosure, as well as ensuring that once this water gets into the enclosure, it'll heat up by the warm air being brought in by this fan through this mesh screen, heat it up, it evaporates, you get a humidity transfer from the ground into the air, and if it gets too humid or the temperature is too high, this heat lamp can be shut off and a fan can be activated to blow the air from the outside world inside of the enclosure. And of course, on the opposite side, outside of this bin, I'll have a vinyl tube that connects, vinyl tubing that connects to the PVC pipe that blasts the water in. The water comes out of these holes that are represented by the vertical bars of each end. And then you can have your humidity adjustment, your temperature adjustment, and your ventilation for the animal to ensure that it can breathe and it's not stuffy or suffocating. So I think this is a good look. If anything, I could use some silicone to seal it or some hot glue. Probably hot glue would be better since it's going to keep its shape better, and the cure time is a lot less compared to silicone. So I think this will be the best setup to use. Now, of course, I'm still going to need hides, so I could easily, let's represent it here. I can easily get a hide on either side. So what I'm thinking is probably here in the middle or closer to where the heat will be coming out, have a hide here, and then have another hide where it's closer to the cool end so that the animal can thermoregulate and be comfortable without being so close to this heat lamp that it risks burning itself and thus hurting itself. So I think this is a good idea to have. You know, I don't really see any problems with it. If I want to do a variation, I could just eliminate this wall entirely and just put a fan here instead of being here so that the air gets pumped, and then just get another fan on this side to pump air in here if there's a problem where, you know, overheating or it's too much humidity and the humidity needs to be brought down. And of course I can change where I locate these two hides as well. But this is going to be the look for right now, and it looks pretty good, honestly. I know it's just a bunch of random shapes and Microsoft Paint. However, the way that it's looking, the way that I have everything planned, I'm pretty confident that this will work. But of course, you always want to leave open the possibility of variations needing to take place. So as of right now, that's the video. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, share with your friends, and I will see you guys in the next video. And I will have links down below to all my social media, including my Patreon. So thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video, and goodbye.